John is 68 years old and lives in Texas. For most of his life, sleep was never something he worried about. He would lay his head on the pillow, drift off, and wake up refreshed. But these days, things feel different. Almost every night, John finds himself wide awake at 2 or 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, wondering why he can't get back to sleep. He isn't alone. Millions of Americans over 60 share this same struggle. Maybe you've felt it too. You go to bed tired, but your sleep feels lighter than before. Small noises wake you up, and once you're awake, it's hard to settle back down. The mornings come too early, and you start your day already feeling worn out. It can be frustrating, even discouraging. Sleep is supposed to be the body's time to heal and recharge. So why does it become harder just when we need it the most? The truth is, our bodies and brains change as we age, and those changes affect the way we sleep. In today's video, we'll take a closer look at why this happens, and more importantly, what you can do to find peace and rest again. John sits quietly by the window in his Texas home, the soft glow of a lamp lighting up the room. The night is still, and outside, the crickets sing the same song they've sung for decades. He remembers a time, not so long ago, when sleep came easily. As a younger man, he could fall asleep within minutes, stay asleep through the night, and wake up feeling strong and ready for the day. Back then, he never thought much about the importance of sleep. It just happened naturally, like breathing. But now, in his late 60s, John often finds himself thinking about it. He has come to realize that sleep isn't just time off. It's one of the body's greatest healers. When we sleep, the brain sorts through memories, deciding which ones to keep and which ones to let go. It's during deep sleep that our immune system gets stronger, helping us fight off illness. Even the heart, beating faithfully all day long, finally gets a chance to rest. Sleep is like a nightly repair shop, quietly fixing and restoring everything inside us. In his younger years, John rarely noticed this process. He just woke up energized, ready to take on work, family, and the challenges of life. But now, he feels the difference when sleep doesn't come easily. A restless night leaves him foggy the next morning, his thoughts slower, his body heavier. He sometimes catches himself forgetting small things, where he left his glasses, or what he walked into the kitchen for, and he knows it's not just age, it's the lack of deep, restorative rest. Science tells us that sleep is especially important as we grow older. Our bodies need it to maintain balance, to repair cells, to keep our minds sharp and our moods steady. Yet, ironically, after 60, sleep often changes. We spend less time in the deep stages of sleep, the very stages that make us feel refreshed. Our bodies produce less melatonin, the natural hormone that regulates sleep, and our internal clock, the rhythm that tells us when to rest and when to wake, begins to shift. For John, this has meant falling asleep earlier in the evening, but waking up much too early, sometimes before dawn. It has meant lighter sleep, interrupted by trips to the bathroom, or by small noises that never bothered him before. And while he tries to brush it off, he knows that these changes affect how he feels physically, mentally, and emotionally. Still, John has found some comfort in understanding the role of sleep. Knowing that it's not just him, that many people his age go through the same struggle, makes him feel less alone. More importantly, he's learned that there are ways to support his body and encourage better rest, even if sleep doesn't look the same as it did when he was young. For John, and for so many others, sleep remains the quiet foundation of good health. And though it may change with age, it is still something worth protecting, nurturing, and valuing every single night. It's 2 a.m. in John's bedroom. The red numbers on the alarm clock glow in the dark, and John lies awake, staring at the ceiling. He turns onto his side, then onto his back, searching for a comfortable position. A deep sigh escapes him. This isn't the first night he's found himself wide awake. When the rest of the world is sleeping, John has noticed that his nights look different now. He goes to bed earlier than he used to. Sometimes by 9 o'clock he's already dozing off. But instead of staying asleep until morning, he finds himself waking several times throughout the night. Sometimes it's for a trip to the bathroom, other times it's no reason at all. His body just stirs, and suddenly, he's awake. The sleep itself feels lighter. In his younger years, thunderstorms or the dog barking outside wouldn't have budged him. Now, even the creak of the house settling or a car passing by can jolt him awake. And once he's up, the real challenge begins. He'll lie there, eyes open, mind running through old memories, tomorrow's plans, or even small worries that wouldn't normally bother him. Before he knows it, the clock shows 3 o'clock, then 4 o'clock, a.m. By the time dawn creeps in, John is already exhausted. Instead of feeling refreshed, mornings start with a heaviness in his body and a fog in his mind. He knows he slept some hours, but the rest never feels deep or satisfying. It's as if he's skimming the surface of sleep but rarely sinking into the kind of rest that truly restores him. This experience is incredibly common among older adults. Many seniors report that their sleep becomes shallower, more fragmented, and less restful. The brain spends less time in the deep, slow-wave stages of sleep, and more time in lighter stages, where it's easy to wake up. Add to that the natural changes of aging like reduced melatonin, more frequent bathroom trips, and shifts in circadian rhythm, and it's no surprise that nights feel different after 60. For John, the pattern is familiar now. Early bedtime, multiple awakenings, and early mornings that arrive long before he's ready. And while he often wishes he could sleep the way he did in his 40s, he's learning to understand these changes for what they are, a normal part of aging. Recognizing the signs has been the first step toward finding ways to adapt and to seek out habits and tools that can help bring back a deeper, more peaceful rest. The impact of sleepless nights on body and mind. Morning light spills through the curtains as John shuffles into the kitchen. He cradles a warm cup of coffee in his hands, hoping it will clear the fog that seems to hang over him after another restless night. His eyes feel heavy, his thoughts are slow to form, and even simple tasks take more effort than they used to. For John, mornings no longer bring the fresh start they once did. They are reminders of the hours of sleep he's lost. It's easy to think of sleep as just rest, but for John, the consequences of poor sleep have become hard to ignore. His memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. Sometimes, in the middle of a conversation, he loses his train of thought. Reading the newspaper takes longer, and he finds it harder to focus on details. This mental cloudiness frustrates him, especially since he used to be quick and sharp, dash-minded. Physically, the changes are just as clear. The fatigue lingers throughout the day, making it harder to keep up with simple routines, gardening, running errands, or even enjoying a walk around the block. His body feels slower, heavier, and despite drinking coffee to push through, nothing replaces the deep energy that only real restorative sleep can provide. Doctors and researchers have long warned about what happens when sleep is cut short, especially as we get older. Over time, lack of sleep doesn't just make us tired, can weaken the immune system, making it harder to fight off colds or infections. For John, this means that small illnesses take longer to recover from. He's noticed his blood pressure creeping up at checkups, to worrying signs since poor sleep has been linked to heart disease. There's also the risk of diabetes. Sleep helps regulate how the body uses sugar and insulin, and without enough of it, the balance is disrupted. John doesn't have diabetes, but his doctor has reminded him that restless nights could raise his chances over the years. And then there's the emotional toll. After too many sleepless nights, John finds himself irritable, snapping at small things that wouldn't have bothered him before. He feels anxious more often, as though his mind is racing but his body can't keep up. Some mornings, the lack of sleep even weighs on him emotionally, leaving him discouraged before the day has even begun. What John is experiencing is something many older adults know all too well. The way sleep or the lack of it affects every part of life. It's not just about feeling tired. It's about the strain on the heart, the brain, the immune system, and even the spirit. As he sits with his coffee, John realizes that sleep is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. And while aging has changed the way he sleeps, he knows he must find ways to protect and nurture the rest he still can. Because without it, both body and mind begin to suffer. Adapting to a new sleep rhythm, John didn't want to give up. After too many restless nights, he realized that simply hoping for better sleep wasn't enough. He needed to make some changes. Instead of fighting against the way his body was changing, he decided to work with it. His first step was exercise. Every morning, John started taking short walks around his neighborhood. At first, it was just 10 or 15 minutes, but the fresh air and gentle movement gave him a sense of energy he hadn't felt in a while. Over time, he noticed that being active in the morning helped his body feel more balanced by the end of the day. The natural sunlight also played a role, signaling to his brain when it was time to be awake, and making it easier to feel sleepy when night came. John also looked at his daily habits. He had always enjoyed an afternoon cup of coffee, but now he realized that even a small amount of caffeine could keep him awake into the night. It wasn't easy, but he slowly replaced his late-day coffee with herbal tea. Within weeks, he noticed he wasn't as restless at bedtime. Another adjustment was creating a regular routine. Instead of watching television until he felt tired, John set a consistent bedtime and stuck to it. He dimmed the lights in the house, put away his phone, and let his body know it was time to wind down. That simple habit of consistency gave his mind a clear signal. Nighttime is for rest. Perhaps the biggest change came from his bedtime ritual. Before crawling under the covers, John would sit quietly for a few minutes, focusing on slow, steady breaths. Sometimes he would read a few pages from a book. Other times he would listen to soft music. These simple practices helped calm his racing thoughts and ease the transition from a busy day into a peaceful night. Little by little, the difference became clear. John still woke up some nights aging, hadn't erased that, but he found it easier to drift back to sleep. His mornings felt lighter, his mind sharper, and his mood steadier. Most importantly, he no longer felt helpless. By making small, intentional choices, John discovered that even though his sleep would never be quite the same as it was decades ago, it could still be good, restful, and restorative. For John, the lesson was simple. Aging changes sleep, but with patience and the right habits, it's possible to adapt and reclaim the comfort of restful nights. The benefits of small changes didn't happen overnight, but John slowly began to notice the difference. His sleep wasn't perfect. He still had the occasional night where he woke up at 2 in the morning, but something had shifted. Instead of lying awake for hours, restless and frustrated, he found himself drifting back to sleep more easily. The tension he used to carry in his shoulders and chest seemed to soften. By the time morning came, he felt lighter, calmer, and more ready to start the day. The changes didn't just affect his nights, they transformed his days, too. With better rest, John's energy began to return. He no longer felt the same heavy fog that once followed him through the morning. Instead, he noticed he could focus more easily on conversations, enjoy his morning walks without dragging his feet, and even laugh more often with his wife and grandchildren. Sleep, he realized, wasn't just about closing his eyes. It was about restoring the joy and clarity that made daily life meaningful. There was also an emotional shift, where once he felt discouraged, even hopeless, about the changes aging had brought, John began to feel a sense of control again. He understood now that growing older didn't mean giving up on rest, it simply meant approaching it differently. The small choices he made each day, from a cup of herbal tea instead of coffee, to 10 minutes of breathing before bed, gave him a new rhythm that supported his body instead of fighting against it. John knew he could never return to the deep, effortless sleep of his 30s, but he also knew that he didn't need to. What mattered was the quality of rest he could create now, in this stage of life. And as the morning sun streamed into his bedroom, John felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Sleep after 60 hadn't disappeared. It had simply changed, and with patience, he had learned how to embrace it. John's story is not just his own, it reflects the journey of so many people over 60 who are struggling to rest the way they once did. If you've been lying awake at night, wondering why sleep feels so different now, remember this: you are not alone. Just like John, with a little patience and a few small changes, you can find your way back to more peaceful nights. Sleep after 60 may not look exactly like it did in your younger years, but that doesn't mean it's gone. It simply asks us to listen to our bodies, to adapt, and to care for ourselves in new ways. And when we do, we discover that rest can still be refreshing, healing, and deeply rewarding. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If John's story spoke to you, or if you think it could help someone you love, please take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend, and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your own sleep journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Golden Health Sleep, for more stories, tips, and guidance to help you sleep better and live healthier. See you in the next video.